So when we come to stock here, we come to maintain stock group. So, alright, so stock group here. Here will be all your stock groupings. So stock group is an optional function. Alright, so for example, if you are selling a lot of items, and you wish to group them by groupings, you may use the stock group function. But let's say you do not want to group them by different groupings. You may just ignore stock group. Alright, so over here I will give a few examples. Let's say this testing company is a mobile phone shop. They're selling gadgets and also maybe phones and iPad, for example. So in this case, I can create different groupings. So in order to create the first grouping, I may click New. So for example, I'm selling iPads or iPhone and also accessories. Over here, I will create two groupings first. The first will be for devices. The second group will be for accessories. So the code I will enter as devices. Description as well. Then the sales code here. Alright, this part is very important. So remember just now, during the chart of account part, I have already set the sales category. One will be revenue for physical goods. Another will be revenue for services. So let's say these devices is a physical goods. In this sales code here, I must assign the correct revenue code, which is revenue. Physical goods. Same to cash sales as well. Physical goods. For this sales return, I will use the system default. Return inward. For the balance sheet stock, I will use the original, the default stock code. For the purchase, let's say, if you do not have different purchase accounts, you will use back the original purchase account. Cash purchase as well. And also for purchase return code, I will map it back to purchase return. So once this is done, I can click Save, and that's it. So let's say I want to create another stock group here. Let's say for accessories. So usually you can click New to create it. But whenever you click New, you need to remap all these code mappings. So here I will guide on a shortcut. If let's say, the second stock group you are about to create is exactly the same as this current stock group, it will just come to Edit here. Right next to Edit, we have an Edit as New. So we just click Edit as New. The system will duplicate this entire device's stock group into a new one. So we just need to change this code here to the correct one. Let's say as a service. Description as well. And let's say for example, all these sales code and cash sales, they remain the same. So we can just leave it and click Save. That's it. Alright, so sometimes, let's say for this testing company here, I'm also providing services. Let's say installation or repair services. In this case, I may also click Edit as New to duplicate into a new stock row. The code here, I'll be changing to services. Description as well. After that, under this sales code and cash sales here, I will remap it into the correct one, so that the sales code will no longer be physical goods. I will change it to revenue services. Same goes for cash sales as well. I will change them to revenue services, because this is not a physical item. So once I have remapped all the required codes, I just click Save. And that's it. So when we click Browse, here will be our stock group listing. Alright, let's say, once we have done with the stock group listing, I will close this. And now, I'll come to stock item. So stock item will be the part where we key in all the individual stock items, so we just need to click New to create the item you are selling or services you are providing. So let's say I'm going to create an example. Let's say I'm selling iPhone 16 Pro Max. So in this case, the code I will enter the item code. So let's say the item code is shorter. IP16 Pro Max. Description. I can enter the full name. iPhone 16 Pro Max, for example. So because this iPhone, it belongs to devices. So down under item group here, I will change the grouping to devices. And here we need the base, UOM. So the system default base UOM will be unique. If let's say your UOM is pieces, then we just change it to pieces. And here we have reference cost. So reference cost is just for reference purpose only. If let's say, the price of this, the cost of this iPhone 16 from your supplier, always remain the same, always remain fixed. In this case, we can enter a fixed cost over here. But if let's say sometimes for certain goods, the price always fluctuates. Let's say in the morning you ask your supplier. They are telling you that this iPhone 16 is 3,000. 2 hours later you call to the same supplier, and they charge you for 7,000. If let's say in cases like the cost is volatile, we enter as 0. So we only enter the actual cost when we are creating purchases later. So down here, same goes for the reference price. If let's say you are selling this item in a fixed price, you may enter the fixed price here. But if let's say the price of your item is on a case-to-case basis, in this case, you will leave it as 0. You only enter the actual pricing when you are creating your sales document. So let's say this reference price, I always sell at a fixed 8,000. In this case, I'll key in 8,000 over here. So shelf will be the location for this item. And we have reorder level, reorder quantity, and lead time for reference. So down here we have output tax and input tax. So if let's say your company doesn't have SST, you may just ignore output tax and input tax. But if let's say your company has SST, output tax will be your sales tax. So let's say this iPhone 16 Pro Max has a 10% sales tax. Over here, we may assign a default sales tax for this item. SO here, same goes for the input tax as well. Purchase tax 10% for example. So we have Remark 1, Remark 2 for any additional information, and also barcode. So if let's say this thing has a barcode, you can key the barcode over here. So next, the most important will be the classification code. So when you are submitting your invoice to Wire 4E invoice, you must also select your item classification code, because when they are submitting for iInvoice, this is the government, the which end they needs to know what item you are selling. So that's why, whenever you are creating an item, or when you are keying an item on the invoices, we must select the classification code. So, for example, iPhone 16 Pro Max, it belongs to smartphone. We may select 003 for computer, smartphone, or tablet. So if let's say you are a construction company, you are providing construction services, or selling construction material. In this case, you will select 005 construction materials. But if let's say, the thing or the service you're providing, it can't be found in either of the classification code. Here, you may always select 22 others. So once this classification code is done, we will now come to UOM, here. So let's say you are selling in pieces. So pieces will be your base UOM. Base UOM refers to the smallest UOM in your inventory. But sometimes, when you are selling to customers, you might sell in a box. Let's say you sell in a box, or in a carton. Or sometimes when you are purchasing from your supplier, you may purchase in a larger quantity. You are not purchasing by pieces. If that's the case, and the larger quantity always comes with a fixed rate, you may create a second UOM here. So let's say sometimes you are selling in pieces. But when you are purchasing in carton. So for the second UOM here, we can create carton over here. The rate here. So if let's say this carton always come with a fixed rate of 10 pieces. The rate here, we may enter 10 pieces under here. So whenever you select a cotton, the system knows that you are buying or you are selling 10 pieces. So next we have more description. So more description is an optional field. So you may enter some important information which you would like to show to your customer. So let's say this iPhone 16 Pro Max, the storages for example. The storages 1 TB and has a warranty period of 2 years, so you will keynote this. Important information under this small description here. And once you have printed the quotation or the invoices, all this description will also appear on the invoice. But if let's say you are an accounting firm for example, or you are a construction company, the thing you build your customer might be customizable, it might be on an individual basis. Alright, so every time you build, it might never be the same content. If that's the case, under stock item here, you may leave this more description as empty. When creating invoices and document, later I will guide you on how to key in manually. So next we have opening balance. So opening balance is just for you to key how many quantity you have in hand while you are using this system. So let's say the opening balance for this iPhone Pro Max is 5 units, so you will enter 5 units here. So let's say the cost for 1 unit is 6,000. You just enter the unit cost here. And the system would know that you have an opening cost of 3,000 and 5 units as the opening quantity. So then we come to customer item. Customer item is an additional field. It refers to it means that, for example, this product is known as iPhone 16 Pro Max. But sometimes when they're selling to some customers, the same item will have a different name under your customer. So if let's say today, when AirAsia is buying iPhone 16 Pro Max from you, the customer, they specifically requested that when they're selling this item, the invoices you send to them must use the name of what they wanted. So over here, you can select which customer is having this request. Let's say it's AirAsia. And for the customer code and description here, you may enter the same item, but the name at your customer company site. So let's say this iPhone 16 Pro Max, they are using another item code. So you can select, you can key that, your customer's item code, and also your customer's item description. Let's say they only call them as iPhone 6, iPhone 16 PM. So over here, you just key in the name of the same item, but what your customer wanted. So whenever you selected this item, and when you selected this customer, the invoice printout will show iPhone 16 PM instead of iPhone 16 Pro Max. Alright, so next we come to supplier item. Alright, in this supplier item here, it's also serve as the same function, but this is for supplier. So let's say when you are ordering from a new supplier, the supplier requested that the PO you send to them to use another name. For example, over here, you will select which supplier is having this request. And also, they're the supplier's item code, and also the item name at the supplier site. Let's say your supplier site, they are using 16 PM, let's say it's a different name. So in this case, you can key in the item name of your supplier over here. So whenever the PO we generated, once you have selected this item, and also selected this specific supplier, the name generated will be 16 PM, alright? So then we have barcode. So basically, you have barcode. You can maintain it under here. Lastly, we have note here. So note here, it refers to PNC information. So you have anything PNC about this item? Or for internal reference, you can key under note here. So in this note section, it is only visible to SQL account users. For customers, will not be able to view the note here. And right next to the note, we have picture. So if let's say you would like to enter a picture for this item, you can just right click, click look, and load the image of this item into it. So once this item is done, we can click save. And that's it. So over here, I will create few more example items. So let's say I click new to create a second item. Let's say this is phone charger. So description, I will end as phone charge here as well. Item group, it will be under accessories. Let's say the fixed cost is 60 ringgit. The selling price is 100. So the classification is under others. So once this is done, I just click save. That's it. Alright, so let's say your company is a firm, providing services like accounting fee. Or when let's say you are a construction business. Alright, you do not have stock item, but you also can use this SQL, maintain stock item, to maintain your services. Let's say for example I click new. Let's say this company is providing accounting services. Over here, the code here, I can key accounting fee. Or I can key a shorter code to represent it. Description here, I only key the full name. So, let's say item group, I will change it to services. So based UOM, it is buy per year, or on a case-to-case basis. So let's say it comes with a fixed price of 3,000. In this reference price here, we enter 3,000. So, and then we must also select the classification. So we need to select which classification. Let's say if you can't find any relevant classification, then we may select 032. And if let's say your stock item is not a physical item, you must untick stock control on this. Untick it and save it. So let's say I'm also providing repair services. In this case, I can click new The code here, I will enter repair. So maybe the description, I'll enter the full name. Repair fee. Item group is under services. You end up putting on a case-to-case basis. So for the classification code will be under repair and maintenance, 030. So, and then I must also untick stock control for non-physical items. So, and then I can click Save to complete it. So now, I'll click Browse, and here's our item listing. Alright, so that's how we create for our maintain stock group and maintain item. Thank you.